My monster-in-law handed me divorce papers at my own anniversary party, expecting me to cry and beg. Instead, I smiled and said, "Thank you." The room went silent. What she didn't know, I was a secret billionaire and I'd already taken everything. From her family legally. Game over, Camila. My name is Elizabeth, and exactly 1 year ago today, I made what everyone thought was the biggest mistake of my life. I married Oliver Thompson. But standing here in this glittering ballroom, wearing a red dress that cost more than most people's cars, holding divorce papers wrapped in a silver bow, I can tell you that marrying him wasn't the mistake. Trusting his mother was. Let me paint you a picture of tonight. Crystal chandeliers hanging from 20 feet ceilings, each one probably worth more than a house. An orchestra playing classical music in the corner, champagne flowing like water, and 300 of the city's elite gathered to celebrate. My first wedding anniversary? Sounds romantic, right? Except my husband's mother, Camila Thompson, is the one who planned everything. And Camila has never done anything out of love for me. I should have known something was wrong the moment I walked in. Camila wore white, not cream, not ivory, pure white, like she was the bride at her own son's wedding. She moved through the crowd like a queen, accepting compliments, directing staff, making sure everyone knew this party was her creation. Oliver stood beside her like a well-trained puppy, nodding at everything she said. That's my husband, ladies and gentlemen, 32 years old and still can't say no to mommy. The party was in full swing when Camila clinketed her champagne glass, demanding everyone's attention. My stomach dropped. I knew that smile on her face, that victorious gleam in her eye. I'd seen it before every time she'd managed to humiliate me over the past year. Ladies and gentlemen, she announced, her voice dripping with false sweetness. I have a very special gift for my dear daughter-in-law on this momentous occasion. The orchestra stopped. The room fell silent. A spotlight appeared out of nowhere, landing directly on me. I felt 300 pairs of eyes boring into my skin. Camila approached me with this elegant silver box wrapped with a pristine white bow. She was practically glowing with satisfaction. "Open it, dear," she cooed loud enough for everyone to hear. "This is something very special." My hands were steady as I took the box. I could feel the weight of it, could sense something was very wrong, but I opened it anyway, slowly pulling off the bow, lifting the lid. Inside, nestled on white silk, were divorce papers, notarized, dated, ready for my signature. The gasps around the room sounded like a wave crashing. Someone dropped their champagne glass. I heard the crash, heard the whispers starting like wildfire. Camila's smile widened into something cruel and triumphant. "Happy anniversary, dear," she said loud enough for the microphones to catch. Yes, she'd invited media to this. You're free now. Free to go back to wherever you came from. This was it. This was her grand finale. Camila had spent an entire year making my life miserable, treating me like hired help, calling me a gold digger who trapped her precious son. She'd made me clean, cook, serve drinks at family gatherings while she told anyone who'd listen that I was nothing, that I came from nothing, that I'd married Oliver for his money. And now, in front of 300 people and cameras, she was publicly throwing me away like garbage. Everyone expected me to cry, to break down, to run out of that ballroom sobbing. I could see it in their faces, that mixture of pity and morbid curiosity. Even Oliver looked away from me ashamed, but not ashamed enough to stop his mother. Instead, I smiled. Not a sad smile, not a fake smile, but a genuine bright smile. I looked Camila dead in the eyes and said, "Thank you, Camila. This is exactly what I needed." The confusion on her face was priceless. The room went from shocked gasps to dead silence. You could have heard a pin drop on that marble floor. Camila's smile faltered, her eyes narrowing. What What do you mean? She stammered. I carefully placed the divorce papers back in the box and set it on the nearest table. All in good time, I said calmly. Let's not ruin the party you worked. So hard to plan. Please, everyone, continue celebrating. I walked away from her, my heels clicking on the marble floor, leaving her standing there looking panicked for the first time since I'd met her. The orchestra started up again, confused, but the party didn't really continue. People huddled in groups, whispering, staring, trying to figure out what just happened. Camila tried to regain control, laughing too loudly, telling people it was all a misunderstanding, but I could see the cracks forming. She kept watching me nervously as I calmly sipped champagne and chatted with guests like nothing had happened. Daniel Trito approached me twice. I turned away both times. He didn't deserve my attention, not anymore. You see, there's something Camila doesn't know. Something nobody in this room knows except my lawyer, who's standing by the bar pretending to be just another guest. Let me tell you who I really am. And not just Elizabeth, the poor nobody from nowhere. I'm Elizabeth Hartford. My father is Jonathan Hartford, founder and CEO of Hartford Technologies. You might have heard of it. It's only worth $3.8 billion. My father built a tech empire from nothing. And I'm his only child, his sole heir. When I met Oliver 2 years ago, I was tired. Tired of men who saw dollar signs when they looked at me. Tired of fake friends and fake smiles. So I did something crazy. I hid who I was. I took a simple job as a marketing manager at a mid-level firm, rented a modest apartment, drove a normal car. I wanted someone to love me for me, not for my father's. Money. Daniel seemed different at first, sweet, attentive, genuine. We fell in love, or at least I did. He proposed after 6 months, and I said yes. I thought maybe, just maybe, I could have a normal marriage with someone who loved me for who I was inside. Then I met Camila. From the very first dinner, she looked at me like I was dirt on her shoe. So, Elizabeth, she'd said, her voice dripping with disdain. Daniel tells me you work in marketing. How quaint. The way she said it made it sound like I clean toilets for a living, and it only got worse from there. She made me serve at family dinners while she sat like a queen. She criticized everything I wore, everything I said, everything I cooked. Once I spent 6 hours making a traditional family recipe for Sunday dinner. She took one bite, made a face, and threw the entire plate in the trash right in front of me. Inedible, she declared. This is why poor people shouldn't try to cook for their betters. I endured it because I loved Oliver. I kept thinking he'd stand up for me, defend me, choose me over his mother's cruelty, but he never did. He'd just say, that's just how mother is. Or try not to take it personally. Or, my personal favorite, she warm up to you eventually. She never did. Instead, she got worse. 3 months ago, everything changed. I was coming back from the kitchen at their mansion when I heard voices from the study. The door was slightly open and I recognized Camila's voice immediately. 1 year is enough, Oliver, she was saying. Divorce her. I've already found someone. Better for you. Catherine Wellington. Remember her from the country club? Her father owns half the real estate in this city. My blood ran cold. I pressed myself against the wall, listening. But Mother, Oliver said, and God, even his voice sounded weak. I do care for her. Care? Camila laughed harsh and cold. Daniel. Darling, she has nothing. No family worth mentioning, no money, no connections. The Thompson empire needs a proper heir's wife, not some nobody playing. Dress up. We'll throw her an anniversary party, make it public, give her divorce papers, and be done with it. Clean, simple, humiliating enough that she won't fight back. There was a long pause. Then Oliver said, if you think it's best, Mother, if you think it's best, Mother. Not, I love my wife. Not that's cruel. Just if you think it's best, I didn't cry that night. I didn't scream or throw things or confront them. Instead, I went home to my apartment that Oliver thought was all I could afford, and I made a phone call. "Hi, Dad," I said when my father picked up. "I need to tell you something, and then I need your help." My father was furious when I told him everything. He wanted to destroy the Thompsons immediately, publicly, painfully. But I convinced him to let me handle it my way. 3 months, I said. "Give me 3 months to do this, right?" He agreed. And then he put his entire legal team and financial advisors at my disposal. What Camila didn't know, what nobody knew, was that the Thompson empire was built on sand. They looked wealthy with their mansion and their cars and their parties, but it was all smoke and mirrors. They were drowning in debt. The manufacturing company that had been in the family for 3 generations, hemorrhaging money for years, the real estate portfolio, mortgage to the hilt, Oliver's trust fund, managed by a company that was about to go under. They were 1 bad quarter away from bankruptcy, and they'd been hiding it behind credit cards and loans and Camila's sheer force of will. So I bought them, not directly, of course, through shell companies and investment firms, and my father's vast network of financial connections. Over 3 months, I systematically purchased every debt they had, every mortgage, every failing business. I bought the company that managed Oliver's trust fund. I bought the commercial real estate they thought they owned. When their bank was about to foreclose on their precious mansion, I bought the mortgage. By the time Camila was planning my humiliation party, I owned everything. The Thompson family just didn't know it yet. And that hotel where we're having this anniversary party, I bought it last week. The staff taking orders from Camila, they're actually working for me now. Even the lawyer standing by the bar, casually sipping whiskey, mine. So when Camila handed me those divorce papers in front of 300 people and cameras, expecting me to crumble, I smiled because I knew what was coming next. The party continued awkwardly. For another 20 minutes, Camila pulled me aside into a private room off the main ballroom. The second the door closed, her mask dropped completely. "You think you're something special?" she hissed, getting right in my face. "You're nothing. You've always been nothing. Some poor little nobody who got lucky and trapped my son." I just looked at her calmly. "Is that all, Camila?" "I never wanted you in this family," she continued, her voice rising. "You're not good enough. You'll never be good enough. Oliver deserves better. Someone with class, with breeding, with money, not some pathetic little gold digger who probably planned this whole thing." The irony was delicious. "Sign those papers and disappear," Camila demanded, "or I'll make the rest of your life a living hell. You think this past year was bad? I'm just getting started." I tilted my head, studying her. "Are you finished?" Her face turned red. "Why aren't you crying? Why aren't you begging?" "Because unlike you, Camila, I don't need to beg for anything." I walked toward the door, then paused. "You might want to come back to the party. I have an announcement to make." The confusion on her face was perfect, but she followed me out, probably thinking I was about to make a scene to finally break down and give her the satisfaction she wanted. I walked straight to the small stage where the orchestra had been playing. I took the microphone from the very surprised band leader. The room fell silent again. "Ladies and gentlemen," I said, my voice clear and steady, "I have an announcement to make." Camila rushed toward me, panic in her eyes. "What are you doing?" I ignored her. "First, I want to thank my dear mother-in-law for this wonderful anniversary gift." I held up the box with the divorce papers. A few nervous laughs rippled through the crowd. Camila thought she was kicking me out of the Thompson family tonight. She thought I was a poor nobody, a gold digger, someone who didn't belong in her world. Camila's face was turning an interesting shade of purple. Oliver had gone pale. But what Camila doesn't know, I paused, letting the tension build, is that I'm Elizabeth Hartford. My father is Jonathan Hartford of Hartford Technologies. The reaction was immediate and electric. Gasps, shouts, phones coming out to record. Someone near the back yelled, "The Hartford Technologies." Camila's face went from purple to white in an instant. "That's right," I continued coolly. "And for the past 3 months, while Camila was planning this lovely humiliation party, I've been busy too. I've been buying her family's empire." The screens behind me lit up. My tech guy had been waiting for my signal. Legal documents, acquisition papers, deed transfers, all displayed in crisp, clear detail for everyone to see. The Thompson Manufacturing Company. I now own 68% of shares. Camila made a choking sound. "Your commercial real estate portfolio foreclosed and purchased by Hartford Holdings 3 weeks ago. This very hotel where we're standing, I bought it last Tuesday." I looked directly at Oliver. "Your trust fund, Oliver? The management company is now wholly owned by Hartford Financial Services." "That's mine too." Then I turned my full attention to Camila. "And your mansion, Camila? The one you love so much? The bank was about to foreclose because you've missed 4 mortgage payments. I bought that mortgage. I own your home." Camila screamed. Actually screamed, "That's impossible. You're lying. This is all lies." My lawyer stepped forward, carrying a briefcase. He opened it calmly and started distributing physical copies of documents to the nearest guests. "It's all legal and verified. Mrs. Thompson, your family has been operating on unsustainable debt for approximately 7 years. Miss Hartford's acquisitions were all conducted legally and ethically. You which?" Camila lunged at me. "Hotel security." My hotel security caught her gently but firmly. "You planned this. You trapped my son. This is fraud." I remained perfectly calm. "No, Camila. I fell in love with your son. I would have given him everything, my whole heart, my whole life. I didn't need his money because I have my own. I just wanted love and respect." The room was utterly silent except for Camila's heavy breathing. "But you," I continued, "you tortured me for a year. You made me feel worthless. You called me a gold digger while you were drowning in debt. You humiliated me for being poor while spending money you didn't have. You criticized my background, my education, my worth as a human being. And all because you're a miserable woman who controls people through fear and money that isn't even real." Daniel finally found his voice. "Elizabeth, I didn't know didn't know I was rich," I interrupted. "Or didn't know your mother was bankrupting her family, because I'm not sure which one is worse, Oliver." He couldn't answer. His silence told me everything I needed to know. Camila collapsed into a chair, hyperventilating. Someone brought her water. The guests were recording everything. Society's downfall happening in real time. Streamed and posted and shared across every social media platform. I addressed the crowd one more time. Now I could destroy them completely. I could evict Camila from her home tomorrow. I could dissolve every business, liquidate every asset, leave them with nothing. I have every legal right to do so. Camila looked up at me, and for the first time I saw fear in her eyes, real fear. But I'm not like you, Camila. I'm not cruel for the sake of cruelty. I pulled out another set of documents from inside my clutch. I'm signing the Thompson Manufacturing Company back over to the family, along with enough capital to actually make it profitable again if you manage it properly. Confused murmurs filled the room. "There's one condition," I continued. Camila steps down from all positions in all companies permanently. She will have a modest pension, a small apartment in a nice neighborhood, and a comfortable life. But she will never control anyone ever again. No positions of power, no board seats, nothing. She lived well, but quietly. Camila's sob echoed through the ballroom. The queen dethroned. Then I turned to my husband, soon to be ex-husband. As for you, Oliver, he looked at me with something like hope in his eyes. Idiot, I loved you, I said simply. I really did. I would have built an empire with you. We could have combined our feminized horses, created something amazing together. But you chose her every single time. You chose her comfort over my dignity. You let your mother abuse me, humiliate me, break me down piece by piece, and you said nothing. You did nothing. Elizabeth, I'm sorry. I had these divorce papers. I held up the box. I'm signing them. I pulled out a pen and signed my name with a flourish, but you get nothing. No alimony, no settlement. Actually, remember that prenuptial agreement your mother insisted I sign? The one that said I'd get nothing if we divorced? Well, it works both ways, and since all the Thompson assets are now technically mine, the prenup states that dissipation of marital assets requires compensation. Daniel's face went gray. What does that mean? It means you owe me money, Oliver. For every time your mother spent Thompson money that was actually borrowed against assets I now own. For every dollar used to plan this humiliation party. For every gift she gave you using credit she didn't have. I smiled. Don't worry. I'm waiving it. I don't need your money. I never did. I just made you out of my life. I walked down from the stage and handed him the signed divorce papers. Congratulations on your freedom, Oliver. I hope you use it to finally grow a spine. The crowd parted as I walked toward the exit. Some people were crying, others were applauding. Camila sat in her chair destroyed. Her empire of cruelty collapsed around her. Oliver stood frozen, holding divorce papers he'd never wanted, but had been too weak to refuse his mother. As I reached the door, Camila found her voice one last time. You can't do this. This is my life's work. I'll sue you. I'll destroy you. I paused at the doorway and looked back at her one final time. Try it, Camila. I own your liars too. Then I walked out into the night air, leaving behind the Thompson family, their debts, their drama, and their dysfunction. The red dress I wore caught the moonlight as I stepped into my car. Not the Modestin I'd been driving, but my actual car. A sleek silver Mercedes that had been waiting along with my real life. That was 6 months ago. Camila now lives in a 2-bedroom apartment in a decent neighborhood. She works part-time at a charity shop, actually helping people for once in her life. I hear she's quieter now, humbler. Maybe humiliation taught her what her years of wealth and power never could. Empathy. Daniel moved across the country. He got a job at a regular company. No family connections, no trust fund to fall back on. Someone told me he's in therapy now, finally dealing with his mother issues. I hope he finds peace. I really do. I hope he finds someone who makes him happy and that he learns to stand up for them. As for me, I revealed my identity publicly after that night. No more hiding, no more pretending. I took my rightful place at Hartford Technologies, working alongside my father. We merged the Thompson Manufacturing Company into our portfolio, saved over 500 jobs, and actually made it profitable within 4 months. I started a foundation for women escaping toxic relationships, women who've been made to feel small, worthless, controlled by people who are supposed to love them. We provide legal help, financial assistance, counseling, job training. Everything I wish I'd had during that awful year, we now provide to others. And you know what? I'm happy. Genuinely, truly happy. I found real friends who like me for me. I found purpose in my work. I found peace in standing up for myself. Sometimes people ask me if I regret it, if maybe I went too far. But here's the thing. Camila didn't just hurt me. She was cruel to staff, to business partners, to anyone she considered. beneath her. She'd been destroying lives for decades. I didn't destroy her. I just took away her ability to destroy others. The best revenge isn't cruelty. It's not sinking to their level or becoming the monster they tried to make you. The best revenge is strategic, surgical, and ultimately about protecting yourself and others from future harm. Camila tried to break me at that anniversary party. She thought she was ending my story, throwing me away like garbage in front of everyone who mattered. Instead, she ended her own reign of terror. And that smile I gave her when she handed me those divorce papers, that was the moment I knew I already won. She just didn't know it yet. So here's what I learned. Never mistake someone's silence for weakness. Never mistake their kindness for stupidity. And never ever underestimate a quiet woman who's been pushed too far. Because sometimes that quiet woman is a billionaire playing chess while you're still playing checkers. And by the time you realize the game has changed, it's already checkmate.